Today we're going to talk to you about a plugin called PathPower. This was created by Braden Anderson as request of one of our science team here at the university, who was interested in modelling how we can track player energy and energy expenditure across a range of different environments. Originally the team wanted to look at sports coaching and how we can get players to move more efficiently, and they were looking to model some kind of similar experience using some cheaper computer gaming software rather than the expensive motion capture software. So we suggested we might try something in Minecraft, which is how the plugin PathPower came about. So as you can see here, we've got a range of plugins installed, of which PathPower is one of those plugins. It's a bucket plugin and it's available from GitHub. Or Curse. If you just type in PathPower, you can find both of those plugins. So what have we got here? Well, we've created a course, and this course is a two-prong attack. There's a green course, a green channel, and the green channel is the benchmarking course. It's a flat area, and you can see here that there's no obstacles in the way. It's just a very flat, straight area. The area on the left is the red course, and it's the obstacle course, and it takes a lot more energy and changes the way in which the player interacts with the environment, and is therefore testing to see how much energy a player uses according to the environment they're in and the obstacles in their way, and can be used as a way of kind of changing the way we design environments. So the idea is this might be a civic discussion, or it could be a health discussion, but the idea from an educational point of view is that changing the way in which we move through an environment changes the amount of energy we use. We all know that obesity is a problem in the UK, it's a growing problem, and therefore if we can design environments that encourage people to use more energy, take longer to go through them, use more calories, then we're actually contributing to a healthier society. So this plugin came about and has a range of different possibilities. But let's just show you how it works first of all. It only works in creative mode. So over on the right here we've got a number of blocks which are simply setting us up. So this one sets us up the nearest player to game mode creative, to game mode survival, and this one changes you back to creative. So we switch to survival mode, and you can see here at the bottom I've got my hearts and my chicken legs to show my energy being used. And we also have the experience bar at the bottom. Now what PathPower does is it changes your experience bar to becoming an energy meter. The faster you go, then the more energy is expended, and the energy will increase in your energy meter, if you like, on the experience bar. On this course here we have a couple of tripwires that are ready in action there. They are ready to set us up with our course, and those tripwires are going to trigger the minute I walk across them. And the tripwires will trigger a command block here, which I need to change. Let me put myself back into creative mode again, otherwise I can't access the command block. There we go. So the tripwire will create this trigger called path start. Path start, and then it will put the nearest player, which is me, in as the name of the path. Then the second one gives it the name of the player, path name. So path start starts the path off, and then immediately it names the path with the name of the player. Now what the plugin does is that it then exports all of the data to a CSV file, which we can then access with all of this data in it. So it will track the name of the player, the time that they did the path, and the other data that we are interested in. So let's see this in action. It will only work effectively if I'm in survival mode, so switch to survival mode. And the minute I track this path, there you go, path has started. We heard the click of the tripwires going off. I walk down this path to get some benchmark data being tested. And you can see my energy meter, which is the experience bar, is not going up very much. And when I cross the path tripwires at the end, it stops the path. So it's then told me, path by iLearning UK, that's me. I travelled 72.7 metres, I completed that journey in 16.9 seconds, and I used 0.7 calories to do so. The algorithm in the plugin has actually been written by Braden to calculate and transfer the amount of energy used in-game in Minecraft into a calorific amount. And he's used an accurate algorithm to make that a true reflection of the amount of energy expended using a combination of the speed that you travel, the energy you use, and the distance travelled. So I'm just going to switch back to GM1. So I'm in creative mode. Now the other thing that the plugin does is if we fly above the course here, is you can see that it's changed a number of the dots there. It's changed a number of the blocks in the path to wool, green wool, to indicate the speed at which I was travelling. So it places a block every 5 blocks along the path, and it shows you A, where I've travelled to, and it shows you the speed at which I was travelling. And this will be reflected if I now repeat the exercise. I'll come back down here, out of the course, so I don't trigger it by mistake. And this time I'm going to sprint through the course, and we'll see a difference in the change in the colour blocks. I'll come down this side and I'll sprint through, double tap on W, sprint through, path started. I've got some obstacles now to get over, so I'll jump here, round here, sprinting through as fast as I can, round through the obstacle course. I'm not very good at this. Oops. Up there, jump. And now you can see my energy bar also going up a lot more when I'm jumping, and the path has ended. Okay, so the path is now complete. We can see the path is now completed in 22.9 seconds. 81 meters was travelled, and I used 6.7 calories to do it. And now when I come back into creative mode and I fly up and have a look, we can see there are red blocks where I was sprinting at the start. So there are red blocks of wool to indicate where I was sprinting. There are yellow blocks of wool to indicate where I was using a medium amount of energy. There's another red block down there. And you can see the path that I took and the energy that I used to get there. So that's how the plugin works. Now we've also created an extra little bit of jiggery-pokery with command blocks here, so that I can reset that track at any time by simply clicking on this block here. What that block does is it clones an area that's underground up to the surface. So if I press this button, we can see, there we go, everything has been reset, all of the data has been reset, and there are no more. There we go, if I come down it's deleted those, it's just refreshing. We can see there's no more coloured blocks and the path has been reset, the track's been reset. So how does that work? Well, that was very simple. As I say, it's just a very simple bit of command block jiggery-pokery. Let's teleport down underneath the ground using this teleport block. I'm underneath now. Above us is the path. Here is the real path, here. And anything that I do to the real path, I won't trigger it. I'll go around the side. So if I, for example, put a hole in here where you can walk straight through, there we go, we've now got a hole in there. If I now go and change that back upstairs and clone it using the command block, it will clone that change that I've just made back upstairs again. So this is a very simple way, it's even cloning all the command blocks and other bits and pieces. Let's teleport back upstairs, reset the path track, and all that's doing is cloning from downstairs underneath the ground to upstairs all of the blocks, including all the air blocks. So let's clone that, and we should see, there we go, that new change has been done here where we've tunneled a hole in from downstairs. So every time I click on that button, it just copies and pastes from downstairs, and we can reset the track for the next participant. Okay, we'll pause the video at this point. We'll have a look at some of the data that is gathered as a result of this plugin, and we'll have a little look at some of the files. So I'm just going to pause at this point. Okay, so I'm here in my FTP client, and I'm looking at my server, my Hullcraft server, and we're going to have a quick look at the data that is generated as part of the PathPower plugin. So I scroll down to my plugins folder, and we'll go into the relevant place. So let's just double click on that one. Okay, so I'm in the plugins folder, and you can see here we have PathPower jar file, and we have a PathPower folder. If I double click and open the PathPower folder that's generated as part of PathPower, you can see here we've got two types of file. There's a totals CSV and a ticks CSV. If I open that one, then it'll launch Excel, and we can see here that in the date file we've got the player, the path that was generated, the XYZ coordinates of that path, and the amount of power that was used. So in here we've now got a kind of accurate record being logged of whenever these paths were created, and we can see how many calories were burned doing each particular path. So these are the distance ones and the amounts of power used. There is also the other type of path, which is the total CSV, which again, if I open, what we then get is that gets converted into a series of paths with distance, energy and time. So this is the file which takes the raw ticks and converts them into the right formulas for our needs. So we can see here that the path was created 25th of the 2nd at 11:13. That was the path I just created, and the distance was 81.6. I took 6.7 amounts of energy over 22 seconds. So we can see there those paths getting created and how that relates back to our energy use. So we can then manipulate that data, we can show that data and how the effect of the environment would change. We can then say by doing X in the environment we had this impact on the amount of energy that the player used or it took them to get round, for example. So we're quite interested in this and exploring this a lot further, but that's kind of it. It's what PathPower does. In other examples, I'm sure you'll find your own examples of how PathPower can be used more effectively, and look forward to seeing you in the next video. Okay, thanks very much indeed. Thanks for listening.